Imagine your ultimate golf experience. You and a friend, or round up some buddies for a foursome. One day or an entire week. There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience, it's Michigan's Magnificent 11. A links course and a rugged quarry course. Parkland or wetland courses. Pine forest courses, mountain courses, lakeshore courses. Boyne Golf was named the #1 best golf destination in USA Today Reader's Choice 2025. And you can stay at the Highlands at Harbor Springs, the #2 golf resort in that same USA Today poll. You've certainly got plenty to choose from. The ultimate golf experience. That's Michigan's Magnificent 11 from Boyne Golf. And magnificent? That's just the beginning.
In beautiful Stafford, Virginia, the greens and fairways are just the beginning. Discover our scenic trails, paddle our rivers, and enjoy nature's grandeur. Your taste buds will thank you as you visit our award-winning breweries and wineries. In Stafford, the history, stories, and legends of America's past are waiting to be discovered. Whether you're chasing outdoor adventure, family fun, or a place to unwind, Stafford has it all. Just off I-95 and closer than you think. Plan your visit at tourstaffordva.com. Stafford, where your story starts.
Golfin Around is sponsored by Tour Stafford, Virginia. Team USA versus Team Scotland Amateur Golf Championships. You could win a trip to St. Andrews, Scotland. Tourism Ireland. Squares Golf Shoes.
A new kind of golf shoe. The first real balance of lightweight comfort and proven performance. More stability, more comfort, more distance. The new LT series by Squares.
Introducing the Level Playing Field podcast, a video podcast dedicated to shining a light on the new and ever-changing world of amateur and professional sports. Featuring Olympian and NCAA standout wrestler Dennis Attia sharing his bold opinions on the development of NIL, the transfer portal, and how collegiate scholarships are being reshaped across the country. Each episode dives into the stories, the controversies, and the real impact these changes are having on athletes, schools, and fans. You can find every episode on YouTube, Spotify, and at DennisAttia.com.
I learned in the Marine Corps, when I carried a rifle during the Vietnam War, that you always do what you say you'll do, period. I said our new Gen 6 golf clubs would be of the highest quality, incredibly long, blazing fast, beyond forgiving, and gorgeous to look at. And I'm here to tell you today, they are exactly that. To learn more, visit pxg.com, then schedule your custom fitting today. Hoorah! PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Hello and welcome to the Golfin Around Radio Hour. I'm your host, Randy Tantlinger, the world's worst golfer. Ken Griffith up there in Michigan. If the USGA had a handicap of 42, I would have my card in the USGA saying I was a 42 handicap. You've golfed with me. You can attest to this, Ken.
I'd say 35, Randy.
Yeah, you know, my putting has come along.
There you go. Folks, that's where the money is.
Yeah, and the putting, no doubt about it, Ken. We're joined by a Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania native that has found his true calling, his home, in one of the most beautiful places in the United States that is home to 11 magnificent golf courses. Boyne, Michigan, Boyne. Folks, if you've never heard of Boyne, Michigan, take your golf spikes off, grab an Arnold Palmer, because Ken and I are about to, introduce you to your new favorite golf destination. Ken, I refer to Boyne, Michigan as the Hilton Head of the North. Am I far off in that analysis?
Well, there's very few places in the U.S. that have 11 courses all under one ownership. In fact, there's only one other one, and it's Pinehurst. But the fact that, that just great, just to be put in those categories, with Hilton Head and with Pinehurst and with Bannon and with Whistling Straits and Pebble. I mean, it's just an honor, when the awards are out there, and we've been fortunate the last few years to have some top placings, to be in that comp set. And to be in the same league as those, it's an honor, and it shows all the hard work of everybody that works for this team.
Folks, again, we're talking to Ken. He's director of golf up there in Boyne, Michigan. So, Ken, so folks get a geography lesson here. Tell them where Boyne is located.
So in Michigan, there's a lower peninsula and an upper. And we're toward the top of the lower peninsula. Everybody says we're in upper Michigan, but we're kind of the top of the bottom, if you want to call it that. But we're really located about an hour from Pittsburgh or Western PA. You'd probably fly into Traverse City, or you could drive it. But you're about an hour drive from Traverse City up to our courses. And we have 3 resorts here, all around Petoskey. If you want to use Petoskey as a central location for us. So where I am at Bay Harbor Golf Club is obviously one of our premier properties. And there's an Inn at Bay Harbor that sits right beside it. And so we have 3 Arthur Hills 9s here. As Bay Harbor Golf Club that we play as 18. Across the street, there's Crooked Tree Golf Club. Just north of us at the Highlands, we have 4 18-hole championship courses and a new 9-hole short course. And then just south of us at Boyne Mountain, we have 2 more courses. So overall, if you look up Boyne Golf, because on Boyne Golf, we talk about all the courses. We talk about all the tee times or package opportunities. And we talk about the resorts too, so you can figure out where you want to stay.
Folks, I've been to Boyne several times, and it is absolutely one of my favorite golf destinations in the United States. A lot of people have never even heard of Boyne Golf, Boyne, Michigan, and you and I are about to discover together so our listeners understand just how magnificent, folks. When I refer to Boyne as the Hilton Head of the North, I mean adjectives like classy, elegant, awe-inspiring, nestled right up against Lake Michigan. You can see Boyne right there. Ken, with Lake Michigan behind him at the beautiful Bay Harbor Golf Club. Ken, it is a different lifestyle in Boyne. It's relaxed, it's tranquil, along with the beautiful golf.
Well, we think we live in a great spot, especially in the summertime. If you like snow, we live in a great spot year round. But if you like summer temperatures, so, it gets light enough here to play golf starting at 6:30 in the morning. It stays light enough and you've experienced it yourself, till 10 o'clock at night when we get sunsets out over the lake. So you've got long days to play. Now that play could all be on the course. If you can't play that much on the course, there's still plenty of things to do here and play. But it's just so unique that you've got average temperatures of, say, 75 to 80 degrees in the summertime, light breeze here, maybe 5 to 8 miles an hour here, and maybe 5 miles an hour at our inland courses, and long days and low humidity. So when you combine all those with the variety of golf that we offer and the variety of lodging experiences we offer, it's a pretty unique place.
I first met Ken several years ago in Boyne, and I said, you guys are like Margaritaville, Hilton Head, all combined with the elegance, the class, the beauty, but that laid back feeling of, hey man, just relax and play some great golf. That's one of the reasons, folks, I love Boyne, Michigan and Boyne Golf. But we're going to get really into the heart of golf right now. The 11 golf courses there at 3 different resorts are so unique, Ken. They're so distinct that none of the 11 looks alike, plays alike. There is just magnificent, beautiful, distinct golf. And I want to start at the Highlands, Ken, the Highlands Resort, where you've got 5 distinct different courses.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. That alone would make it the top property in the U.S. In fact, it was last year. It won the number 3 golf resort in the U.S. in the USA Today poll. But and in that same poll, Boyne Golf won the best destination in the U.S. So
say that again. Don't just dismiss that. Say that again. Boyne won the.
Boyne Golf was the USA Today Readers' Choice Awards best golf destination in the U.S. last year.
Folks, think about that. The best by USA Today. You're missing something in Boyne, but let's get back to the Highlands.
So at the Highlands, you're right. 4 very unique courses. Our original course, the Heather, was the Robert Trent Jones Senior course that we built in 1966. It was the first resort course built in northern Michigan and kind of started northern Michigan as a golf destination. And then after that, we built the Moore close by. Then in the late 80s, early 90s, we built the Donald Ross Memorial. Donald Ross Memorial is a tribute to Ross. It takes 18 Ross holes from mostly in the U.S. There's one from his hometown in Scotland, but mostly from the U.S. and put them all together as a single course. There are a couple Pinehurst holes. There are a couple Stream Song holes. When they built it, one of the final, we picked holes that then we thought would fit our landscape. And then when we put them together, it came down to, was this a private club or a public? Can anybody get there? And the majority of them are at private clubs. In fact, one of them this week is very timely. Our number 14 is actually a Ronimink 11, which is getting a lot of play. And over the last 3 years, coming out of COVID, we've actually rebuilt 6 of those holes to more accurately portray that. And I mean, it's just a unique experience because you're playing all these holes from great golf courses all over that are all Donald Ross courses. And then Arthur Hills in the late 90s built a tribute course to himself, the Arthur Hills course at the Highlands. Very unique. As you said, all of them are. The Moore and the Heather sit kind of in lowlands. The Donald Ross Memorial kind of sits on the shoulder and the bench of the ski hill. And then when you go back on the Arthur Hills, it's very unique. It's a 9-mile-long cart path. And the signature hole is 13, where from tee to green, you have a 350-foot drop, and you're looking over 4,000 acres of northern Michigan woodlands, and you can't see a building.
Ken, what I really like, and I've got to get back up there to see you. As you know, I go over to St. Andrews, Scotland every spring and into Scotland, then into Ireland. I love Celtic golf. You've got the new 9-hole short course, the Dunbray. That
is short walk down a hill. How appropriate.
Scottish Highlands. Tell me about it.
That's what it means. It means a short walk down a hill, and how much more appropriate. It's actually the only golf course we know of that's built on an active ski hill. It's the only one we don't have open yet this spring. It's probably about 2 weeks away because we skied on it all winter. And so it takes a little longer to get it prepped to play. But it's based off of or inspired by unique holes that you'll find in the British Isles, or mostly in the British Isles, but like the postage stamp Redan, a reverse Redan. And the hole, when you're playing it, the hole is right there. It takes an hour and 15 minutes to play it. It's a walking short course. So the fairways are short. You're 57 yards to 151 yards is your longest tee shot. And you can play from shorter tees than that, obviously. But the whole idea is to enjoy yourself. The greens are at 70 to 80% of the actual green. So you're playing, a green that was certainly inspired is very close to those greens. But with just a shorter fairway to get there with. It's a lot more fun and a lot more people can experience. And it's right outside a bar on the back of the main lodge there, as well as an accompanying 27-hole putting area that sits between the lodge and Dunbray. So it's just a very unique experience.
You're listening to the Golfin Around Radio Hour. I'm your host, Randy the Tank Tantlinger. I'm joined by my friend, Ken Griffith. Ken grew up in Western Pennsylvania. He's found a paradise in Boyne, Michigan, Boyne, home to 11 incredible, distinct golf courses. Ken, as we talked about before, you're nestled right up against Lake Michigan. You've got the lake lifestyle going on. You've got a Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett mindset which I just love up there in Boyne. But again, folks, Boyne was rated the #1 golf destination in America by USA Today. Think about that, folks. I know you all know about Pinehurst. You've all heard of Hilton Head. Now you've learned about Boyne Golf, Boyne, Michigan. There's no excuse not to travel up there, because I bet it'll carve a piece of your golf heart out like it has done for me, and you'll find yourself in love with Boyne. Ken, you've got a lot of groups that come up there, and I know we've talked in the past that there's residual play. Every year they come back to Boyne. How could I book, or somebody book, a trip to BOYNE Golf?
Well, first I'd say is go to BOYNEGolf.com, because when you go to BOYNEGolf.com on our website, you'll get a taste of all the experiences. You can look as much detail as you want or not at all of the courses that we have. They're all listed. And the same, like I said, the 3 resorts, the Highlands, just 12 miles north of Petoskey, 5 miles west here at Bay Harbor, or 18 miles south down at Boyne Mountain. But between those 3 resort properties, we also have 120 different lodging types, or 120 different room types. And we also have over 3,000 beds. That's on our property. So we say we control the experience. So we want to make sure you have a good one. And that's everything from the time you check in to the bed you sleep in, to the way the bunkers are raked. It's all up to ensure your experience, and we have control of all that, and we try to make sure you do. And the other thing is that we work really hard on hospitality, but I know a lot of resorts say that. But what we feel very fortunate is it's not just what we train. The people that live here in Northern Michigan, and Randy, you've had a chance to experience this too. They love living here. I mean, they love the lifestyle. They love the year-round lifestyle. And a lot of places you go and they hate tourists, and this is not one of them. When you come up here, we encourage you to go off property, because we know that they're going to share in how much fun you can have in Northern Michigan and all the things you can do when you're not on our golf courses. I mean, we have plenty to do on property when you are here, like Skybridge, Michigan, down at Boyne Mountain, which is a viewing deck that's 120 feet off the ground and 1,100 feet long between 2 peaks at the resort, right down to an 88,000 square foot water park. But where I am right now, there's plenty of distilleries and breweries all around. Wineries, I think there's 14 wineries between our 3 resorts. Mackinac Island is only about 45 minutes away, which is a very unique experience. It's kind of like Catalina meets Midwestern values. So you have to walk, ride a bike, or take a horse-drawn carriage. There's no vehicles on the island. But all these experiences, it's golf centric. You're going to come to us in the summertime because we offer great golf, but you're not going to play 72 holes a day. So what am I going to do when I'm not playing golf? What can I do? Well, there's a ton of stuff to do. And not only does our staff enjoy living here, but so does the local community. And it shows.
Yeah. I mean, I just love Boyne. Again, Ken right now is at Bay Harbor, an incredible golf course, a little bit of a links design to it. You can see the stunning Lake Michigan behind him, that incredible 18th hole. There are 11 golf courses, 3 resorts. Boyne Mountain we haven't spoken of yet, which may house 2 of the very best golf courses in all of Michigan at the Alpine and the Monument.
Well, I think, everybody's always, what's your favorite? Well, I'll narrow it down to 4, but down at Boyne Mountain, I think one of my favorite, if I had to play one course the rest of my life every day, I'd probably play the Alpine, simply because I can take anybody out with me. We all know golf's a social sport, and you like to play with friends. And as great as this view is here off the 3 courses at Bay Harbor, and those sunsets are, the Alpine just kind of rolls out in front of you. There's no tricks. We have a great tournament of champions that we hold down there. It's a 3-day event every year. You had to be a Michigan champion to do it. And it's just an extremely playable course. If you make great shots, you're rewarded very well. And if you're just out with your family and enjoying it, and even if it's dropping it up the fairway with the kids can enjoy it too. So I think it's just our most playable course for the widest variety of golfers. And that's saying a lot, because all of our courses have 6 tee boxes. Everett Kircher, our founder, was very fond of saying, if you played from the right tee box, and this was way before USGA, play for the right tee box, you'll enjoy it. Play shots that you can get you there and that you're actually putting and trying to stay on pace. And so over his life, we now have 6 tee boxes on every golf hole for people to enjoy themselves when they're playing golf.
Folks, talking with Ken, who's up there in beautiful Boyne, Michigan. Again, USA Today newspaper ranked it as the #1 golf destination in America. Not Scottsdale, not Pinehurst, but isn't that amazing, Ken?
Well, that was 2025. So the
That's okay. You all once a Marine, always a Marine.
Well, no, we're still in the awards. Okay, so they did some switch, and they didn't let a golf destination like us. They chose areas, okay, to win awards this year. But BOYNE Golf, they moved us over to the resort category, and we were still top 3 in the resort category. So, it's a couple years in a row here that we're winning awards. International Association of Golf Tour Operators had their North American convention here. And then last year, they also named BOYNE Golf. And these were golf tour operators from all over the world because, what's really morphed in the last 10 years since we've met Randy is that we used to be very Michigan centric with a few rounds from outside the state. And it used to be 80% of our golfers were from Michigan. And now about 55% of our golfers are from Michigan, even though we actually have more people from Michigan playing our courses. But the traffic from outside, California's in our top 10, Florida, Texas, Arizona. I think Pennsylvania's in our top 12. So, we just need to get more people from Western PA and Eastern PA up here to play our courses because of the direct flights. You may want to drive out of Pittsburgh, out of the Philadelphia area. There are actually directs right out of Philly's airport. There's 22 U.S. cities now with directs into Traverse City, and that's really been game changing. To think that from Pittsburgh it's like an hour and a half flight and then a 1 hour drive.
Well, Ken, every time we go over to Scotland and Ireland to play Team Scotland and Team Ireland, they always ask me, when are we coming to the States to play Team USA? And I ask them, where do you want to go? And they say, that's up to you. So maybe one of these years we can get Team Scotland and Team Ireland over there to play 5 of your best from the Boyne area or worst.
No, we would love to do that. In fact, I'll share because I was at the Highlands last summer, and I hear the British accent, and I'm like, "So are you guys?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're from England." And I'm like, "So what do you bring here?" Well, every year we do this ahead of the Ryder Cup, and we have 8 of us. We play 8 guys from the U.S. and the U.S. guys picked the Highlands or picked BOYNE Golf to play this summer. So we're playing here for 4 days, and then we're going to Bethpage and watch the Ryder Cup.
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome?
Tremendous.
Folks, seriously, I can't say it enough. Boyne is incredible. If you've never discovered it, if you have the golf sickness that you've got to play every great course in America, then all you got to do is to go to Boyne. They've got 11 of them to choose from. And chances are, Kenny, if you go once to Boyne, you're going to go back again and again. Ken, I appreciate your time. Go find your Titleist. I think I see it behind that one pine tree right there. So probably use a 60-degree wedge from there.
No, I'll use my foot wedge.
Ken, thanks for your time today.
Randy,
enjoy your day.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure, and appreciate the opportunity.
All right, folks, when we get back to the Golfin Around Radio Hour, we're going to talk how you can win a trip to St. Andrews, Scotland. Just playing the Team USA National Championships in Stafford, Virginia this July, and you may win a trip to St. Andrews, Scotland.